Welcome back, Ferocious Education. This is Ed. Today we're going to be talking about Jaguar Health. Now the ticker for this one goes as JAGX, and so we're going to cover anything we can find for the recent history regarding Jaguar Health itself, due diligence, news, SEC filings, and then going on towards the technical analysis. I'll start first with the due diligence. If you want to skip towards the technical analysis, feel free to do so. Make sure to drop a like to this video to help this channel grow. Subscribe and leave notifications on. Subscribing is really important because it really does improve my channel and it lets others find it out. And if you have any recommendations or feedback, mention them down below. Let's jump right into it. So, Jaguar Health. Now, this one here had a lot of action in the last week, but first we want to look a little bit more on to who they are, what is some of the news that they have. So I thought first we should go on with the presentation and then some of the latest news. So Jaguar Health here, you get to see basically a lot of their products here, and their aim is to have novel plant-based medicines. And one of them, for the one that is a lot more popular and has a lot more coverage, is the MYTESI, the MYTESI. Now, this one here treats gastrointestinal disorders, specifically for some of the products that do actually treat diarrhea, etc. Now, it is going to be listed on the Italian AIM, and so basically in more of a SPAC kind of situation going on into the Italian AIM. And that is for one of their subsidiaries, Napo EU, Europe. And so basically one of the things that it's making it more of a COVID play is that the COVID long haul recovered patients sometimes have a collection of chronic symptoms that include diarrhea. And so basically that is one of the things that they're trying as well to have products for. Now, along the list of other symptoms, for instance, whether it is relating to comfort or just in terms of a digestive or gastrointestinal distress. Now, one here, minor relevance to inflammatory diarrhea, it's that basically first, it is actually FDA approved indication in the US. And the next thing here is for long-term survivors, especially for HIV and AIDS survivors, for which maybe they actually need this product for MYTESI. So they do have a product that is actually going on. You do have others in the pipeline itself. So the one that actually have approved is the HIV/AIDS anti-retroviral therapy. It's a lot of pharma words, usually twist my tongues here. Now, the next thing here is cancer therapy-related diarrhea, CTD. That is actually going up to phase 3. The next thing is supportive care for IBD. That is in phase 1 going to 2. IBS diarrhea. This one here is going on to phase 2 as well. Still looks like a bit in the middle. The 3 ones that we're looking for some news to jump onto phase 2 is supportive care for IBD, inflammatory diarrhea, that is this to be studied in chronic COVID. For phase 2, phase 3, and to be approved, so that needs a little bit more of an enrollment for the groups. And then you have as well the idiopathic functional diarrhea. That as well is going to phase 2 at some point. And basically, tip of the iceberg is basically the post-COVID patient clinic for Bradford, England. Now, some of the highlighted things you get to see, they're taking a lot of snippets of news articles or public reports, etc. And they highlighted here showing you diarrhea for 212 days. I'm very sorry if you're actually eating something while watching this video. It is not very much of an appetizing picture to draw in your head. Over 25% is likely to have been already infected by COVID-19 virus. That is a significant portion of people in the UK, and nearly 1/3 of COVID sufferers, dubbed long haulers, may experience some similar long-term effects, including diarrhea. Now, people of all ages, this is what it affects them from people in all ages, and it is ever growing. About 74% of them were still suffering lingering symptoms. However, other studies are more conservative, estimating the figure to be 1 in 10, so around 10%, with the higher of 74%. So why European focus for this long hauler post-recovery patient indication? Well, it relates to expense and wellness of younger patients population, and the target label for MYTESI to follow on indication is the prophylaxis or symptomatic relief of diarrhea due to inflammation in that area. So the expected endpoints for this kind of studies for in the EU is relief of diarrhea, reduction of inflammatory gut markers, gut biome restoration, and reduction in viral fecal shedding. Now, the proposed merger of Napo European operations into a SPAC, that is going to be happening in the Italian AIM market. It's going to be incorporated in Italy and operations located in Switzerland. That will help them to conduct trials, support registration in European territories for inflammatory diarrhea. Now, this one here is a dedication of operational employees and management specifically to Europe, and JAGX or Jaguar Health obligation is to provide business and scientific leadership service agreements as necessary with Jaguar Health staff and management. And so, moving on as well, SPAC owners of the Napo EU post-merger, how it's really going to work is you have around 20 million minus 50 million raise. So for that 20 million euros, that will be 50% plus one share for the SPAC ownerships of Napo EU post-merger. And for the 50 million, that's around 70%. Now, I don't think that is very much that is not very much directly affecting us. That's more for the Italian market and AIM. So we're going to move on from this one here and how Misty works. So Misty is a non-opioid that works differently from other treatments of diarrhea. With Misty, it's about water flow. It acts locally in the GI tracts, and most other diarrhea medicines work by slowing down your GI tract. Opioids cause constipation. Now, Misty is a non-opioid, non-antibiotics, non-additive drug approved for chronic use. Now, we can go on a little bit more technical, but as investors, we usually care about just qualitative data or rather than the actual insane amount of details in there. So one of the things to get to know about is with HIV and AIDS intake ART, 83% of patients had at least 50% decrease in water stools. Over half of the patients had no watery stools at all. 1 in 5 people living with HIV and diarrhea. Now, MITC current indication is that it's actually approved in the US, FDA approved for symptomatic relief for non-infectious diarrhea in adults. And the next thing we're covering here is some of the numbers that they have. So around 280% was the increase on Q3 2020 from Q3 2019. So approximately $1.8 million in increase. And around 332% from Q3 2020 was the gross sale, representing not the net sales, or an increase of approximately 4.4 million quarter over quarter. Now 151% was the average total number of MITC bottles sold in Q2 and Q3, representing 151% of the numbers sold in Q1 2020. And so the expansion of this one here, that is something we're very interested in, is that in early October 2020, Napo's pivotal phase 3 clinical trials indicated funded with non-dilutive royalty deal with the first 6 million tranche of funding received in October 2020. The additional royalty financing of $5 million and $6 million will be available in February 2021 and 2021 respectively. And so the agreement with FDA in this one here is that safety studies are acceptable and no new non-clinical toxicity study is required. The next thing is chemistry, manufacturing, and controls for CMC data are acceptable. I do understand this is becoming more of a lengthy video, so we're almost done on the presentation and we'll go on towards news and technical analysis. I do apologize for that. Now, so for the planned label here, that's for the phase 3 pivotal trial. They have symptomatic relief of diarrhea in adult patients with solid tumors receiving targeted cancer therapies with or without the cycle chemotherapy. And the principal investigator and co-investigation identified as MD Anderson. So worldwide per year, you have around 14 million new cases of cancer diagnosed, with 4 million people receiving chemotherapy in general. And around 50 to 80% of the people on there taking chemotherapy do actually show a chemotherapy-induced diarrhea. And moving on, we read the rest we're not very much interested in, except for this one here with upcoming milestone. Q4 2020 to 2021 is the additional business development activity. Q4 2020, we already heard about the non-dilutive financing. I'll cover it in a minute. Q1 2021, year-end MIDSI financial performance, which is very important. It looks so bullish right now as of the time being. Second half of 2021 is the top line result expected for investigators initiated phase 2 CTD trial. Initiate CTD phase 1/2 orphan indication for US and the Middle East in the second half of 2021. And in the middle of 2021, you have result of clinical study evaluating the effect of medicine on microbiome. The third quarter, you have launch of Canalevia for CID and EID in dogs, and you have initiate study of Equilevia for symptomatic relief of diarrhea from cholera. So we got that already. I'm not going to really cover the rest here. We're going to see it from the news for some of the things that are going to be discussed here. So one of the things here, and let me actually zoom just a little. There we go. And that was the subsidiary of Jaguar Health, receiving preclinical services from National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease for new preclinical study initiated on January 6, 2021 for the Equilevia plant-based drug candidate for the symptomatic relief of diarrhea. That is from the Equilevia development focused on possible tropical disease priority review voucher. And basically one of the things I wanted to read here is the company believes that Equilevia, I'm not even sure how to pronounce this one, but let's give it a try. Equilevia, which has the same mechanism of action as crofelemer and is significantly less costly to produce. So it's very much same as the products they have, the Mesty one, but it is going to be costing them a lot less to produce. And so that will give you higher net proceeds, and that's going to be massive. So we're already going to move on from here because we already know what their next development is. FDA invites Jaguar Health to expedite submission of regulatory filing approval for the Canalevia to treat chemotherapy-induced diarrhea in dogs. By the way, this previous news was all the way back in January 6th, and now we're going back to July 2021 and moving closer. So you have him approved in terms of treating dogs now for the ones that are going on through chemotherapy. That is massive there. The next thing you have is their IND, the investigation new drug that was way ago. But basically, they do have it that was way ago, and it was announced for 28 days as of the time. So we already expected to hear them moving to phase 3, and we already have that in the next news coming down. We've already covered this one here. And then moving on quickly. According to current estimates, more than 230,000 dogs in the US receive chemotherapy treatment for various cancers each year. Roughly 1 in 4 experience diarrhea, and that is related to their drug market size. Now, the next thing here is following COVID-related delays. This is related to the IND for MIDSI, and basically this one here, they have full enrollment expected at the end of 2020, and the study results are expected to mid to late 2021. So that's a PR coming up down the road. Next thing here we have is that they're uniquely suited to treat basically, using Napo's MIDSI, the first and only oral-based prescription medicine to receive FDA approval under the FDA botanical guidance. That is just a piece of news that we already knew as well. And the next thing here, this is massive. So the team advisors will guide strategic research to discover and develop potential novel, natural, psychoactive prescription medicines derived from Jaguar Health's library of 2,300 plants. And why is that massive? Because it does focus actually on the mental health aspect instead of medications of chemicals. And Jaguar Health Mental Health Entheogen Therapeutics Initiative targets plant-based candidates compound for possible schizophrenia and psychosis indications. And you already see after from where they started on September 16th, within something like September 16th to October 2nd, they already came up with candidates for these two diseases. And what I'm trying to say here is the amount of news they have, the amount of activity they have is massive. They also did have a non-dilutive agreement way back, totaling around $16 million with possible, it was possible in future tranches in 2021. We already know that it's approved, and there's revenue streams of $5 million. You'll see it again in a second in another news. So the next thing you have here is Jaguar Health meets the financial condition for sale of royalty rights for MIDSI. We already that was amazing news as well. And then this one here is Napo Pharmaceuticals initiate pivotal 3 clinical studies for Mytesti for prophylaxis of diarrhea in adult cancer patients receiving targeted cancer therapy. That was back in October 7th, 2021. Sorry, 2020. And then moving on, this news is not as important. You have as well the long haulers for COVID-19. We covered that in their presentation. And then they had their 5th agreement to announce account receivable purchase agreement with Oasis Capital. Was back in May 2020. And then you have as well their hearing related to the extension to grant them to meet the $1 bid coming in from December 23rd to March 10th, 2021. And from the look of it, it looks like it's going through. Especially, I wouldn't see why they would need to delist them, especially as they currently are on track to meet that $1 bid. And I'll talk about that a little bit more. Remember that future of $21 million? There you go, $6 million additional from what was $5 million. Now, this is their 2 products that are currently the Canalevia, which is related to dogs' induced chemotherapy diarrhea from cancer treatments, and then you have the Mytesti, which is HIV and AIDS on gastrointestinal treatments or diarrhea, basically medicine or treatments for HIV and AIDS patients. Now, coming up next is some of the SEC filings, just a couple of few. So what we have here is basically them trying to go on. I'm just going to read it here quickly. So from December 28th, 2021, what you have is the company, or through January 7th, 2021, the company issued around 2.6 million shares of its common stock at an effective price equal to the market price. So basically, it's some kind of it is a dilutive offering, but it's more of at the market price. Share sales. So basically introduce a little bit more, almost sneakily. So that's something. One of the latest proposals that have been accepted on December 29th was basically the reverse split that was going on all the way until December 9th, 2021. And it gives them the right to basically go on with the reverse split of somewhere between 1-2 or 1-20. Now, of course, we're probably not going to see that reverse split from the price action we've had. And then this is one of the things that I've seen from the transcript while reading it. This is something interesting because they are very much in their mind, they want to make sure that they are staying on NASDAQ and they are interested in completing all the compliance needs and and basically improve the equity of their market. And from the thing they've said here, we've had some nice volume in the company value recognition coincident with activities to establish Napo EU. However, this is important and we need to demonstrate to NASDAQ that we have the capabilities to adhere to NASDAQ's bid price requirements or NASDAQ listing qualification panel. It's unlikely to grant Jaguar an extension through March 10, 2021 if they don't actually show or demonstrate that they're capable of meeting that requirement. But since we don't currently meet the $1 per share price requirement, we wouldn't qualify for NASDAQ listing without an extension. It's a bit of a chicken and egg situation. The vote allows the best situation for the company to be granted until March 10th, 2021. And I do expect that it will, in fact, see that extension. And then you have a little bit of the institutional buyers. It looks like nothing happened in 2021. And insider buyers, nothing happened in 2020 or 2021. Now, moving on towards technical analysis. If you haven't done so, please make sure to drop a like to this video, subscribe. Subscribing really helps my channel. And if you would like to, you can join in our Discord that is more of a chat room. It's in the description below. But let's jump right into technical analysis. So on a 1 week perspective, things are looking really bullish. The ADX shows in a very strong indication of a trend here. 10 SMA is above 30 EMA, and we're looking at the price is above the 50 SMA, and that's all bullish. Willing percent R shows it's overbought. MACD here, you get to see it's bullish. The histograms are very bullish as well, as I see it's jumped up a lot higher. Momentum here is at 369, and that is a bullish sign. Now, on a 1 day perspective, the MACD looks like it's not stopping. It looks like it's attempting to continue on an increase as the histogram increases. The ADX says, hey, we actually might be in time for some kind of correction sometime soon. Although yesterday, it actually did see a golden star. That's when the 50 SMA climbs from the bottom up to the 200 SMA. Once that happens, that's a bullish sign. And it's played really nicely today with around 50% increase. Momentum is around 366. Moving averages are all bullish. 10 SMA is above 30 EMA, and the 50 SMA is above the 200 SMA. It looks really good. Now, the next thing we want to look into is the 2-hour perspective. 2-hour perspective, things look like they are really good. The 10 SMA is above 30 EMA. Your trading action zone where reversals are likely is between 355 and 273. Expect bounces within these two lines if they do actually dip below the 355. Now, 202 is the 50 SMA, and it is actually bullish above there, and you can get to see it is actually in fact bullish. Now, the stock price here, you get to see that the ADX shows in there is potential for it to start seeing a pullback, and in fact, it did attempt to see that pullback on January 5th, 2021, and then right away accumulated for a couple of days or so, and then start right up, shot back up. Now, the momentum is around 1.8, and that is an amazing thing. So all in all, looks like it's really bullish, again, with the warning that it could see a pullback. Now, the moving average band, it is leading up higher and expanding, so that's a good thing. It's 112 on the top, 102 in the middle, and 92 cents in the bottom. Stochastic fast and stochastic slow are both showing there is another leg up for this one. They're both pinpointing upwards in all the stochastic fast and stochastic slow, and all indicators there, they're showing another bullish run is not out of the question. Now, the Fibonacci retracements, you get to see there is a current support sitting at 355, followed by 283, followed by 233, 182, and 120. Significant resistances, I mean, there is not much more since the split, but we can easily say maybe 711 on the Fibonacci retracements, 447, and 1139. Now, moving on towards trying to find the significant supports and resistances using the traditional methods. So around 399 is your significant support currently sitting, and then below there you're looking at 379, below there you're looking at 345, 308, and then we're looking down to 292, 269, 236, and then 217, 194, and then we're looking at 179, and then all the way down to 151. Significant resistances are only a couple, around 420, and then from there it's 447. Now comes to the question to Ed, what do you think about this one? Before doing so, I really need to quickly go on towards the financials of this one here. And we need to look a little bit into a couple of stuff like the price over book, if that is available, in fact. So right on my screen here, you'll be able to see this is the company's profile on Yahoo News or Yahoo Finance. You have a market cap is around $429 million. And if we were to go on towards their financials, you get to see in the last quarters, you get to see in September 30th, all the way back to early on 2020. Total revenues have actually, in fact, increased as we get to see from the news that were mentioned earlier, and then we get to see the net incomes have a little bit been stable, nothing to write home about. Taking a quick look into their balance sheet, we get to see that their total cash here is a little bit running low. Their total current assets around 10.7 million at the time being. That is current assets. Total assets in general is around 36.2 million, while the total liabilities is around 28 million. Now, the revenues have been increasing. Now, if we will look into the statistics here and try to find the price over book and price over sales, it's a little bit scary. Price over sales is around 51.63 and price over book is around 93 bucks. Now, the SP 500 averages are around 2 and 3 for both. So it comes to the question to Ed, what do you think about this one? I definitely think they are in a right place with the long holders research, with the SPAC about the Italian AIM, although that's not affecting us, but somehow it is also going as a sympathy play for some SPACs. I think a little bit of some investors are confused, but if you're investing in this one, right now I don't know if it's a current right entry for this one, but it definitely looks like it has a future. There's a lot of news, a lot of developments for this one, and they're definitely going on for the plant-based treatments, and that is bullish. Now, trading-wise, it looks like there's another leg up. It's just giving you a massive warning saying, at any point, that correction is going to happen because we're overpriced. Because, you get to see price over book is way higher. Price over sales is a lot higher too. And intrinsic value is running the place. And if intrinsic value doesn't show on the first quarter, the numbers for mystery to be actually as amazing as the intrinsic value has anticipated, it might drop. So that is something to keep in mind. Currently, we're looking at how many days towards compliance. So we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're halfway thin there. We need 5 more days, 5 more business days. So next week for it to stay above $1 the entire week, and then you get the compliance back. So what do you think about this sticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like. You have a wonderful day.